Let's take a trip back in time, shall we? Back to... the year 2000! Well, 2009, to be exact. Remakes have taken over cinemas and what was left of video stores at the time. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Dawn of the Dead, Halloween had already had their day. It's like they were going down the list of big horror titles year by year. 74, 78, and now 1980. And what was the big horror hit of that year? The one ray of light was the fact that Marcus Nispel was directing. Nispel had previously directed the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake, a remake that, as a huge Chainsaw Massacre fan, I was ready like Freddy to hate with a passion. So color me pleasantly surprised when not only did I not hate it, I thought it was pretty freaking good. So I went into 2009's Friday the 13th, a remake of another movie that I consider to be hallowed ground, with hope. I left the theater feeling pretty underwhelmed though. However, the movie has grown on me over the years, so when I heard that Arrow Video was releasing a 4K, this 4K to be exact, I was hyped to take a trip back to camp. So then and now, the framing device of having not one but two pre-credit sequences, the second of which lasting 20 minutes or so, just gets the movie off to a stumbling start for me. We don't really need the death of Pamela scene with young Jason looking on at the very beginning. All that gets told to us via a campfire story shortly thereafter, and later on in the movie we see Jason remembering that fateful night while he's sharpening a machete. So a simple, brief flashback would have sufficed. I get the thought process behind the second pre-credit sequence with the kids looking for the pot patch, wanting the audience to think that these were the main characters before having them all killed off in rapid succession would have been a surprise. But if you saw the trailer or the TV spots or any of the promotional material, or if you'd been paying attention to the genre at all post-Scream, you would have known that these characters were not going to stick around for long. Now, don't get me wrong. This sequence is pretty cool. The characters are relatively likable and were treated to some pretty gnarly kills. The sleeping bag hung over the campfire kill is brutal. And I don't mean that because it's graphic or gory or anything like that, but because that would really suck. And the best part, it's Tater Sack Jason. Anytime Tater Sack gets some love, I'm down for it. And that leads me to one of the biggest positives this movie has going for it, Derek Mears. Anyone who plays Jason will be put under immense scrutiny by the fan base, and even though opinions of the movie vary, it seems pretty universal that Derek Mears' portrayal as Jason is loved by the fans. Mears made it his own. He was an imposing and dangerous Jason, not just because of his size, but because he was a Jason that used his noggin, a skilled hunter and trapper who's made the mine shafts beneath Camp Crystal Lake his subterranean domain. It was also a great excuse as to why Jason's been able to remain hidden, and why all those who foolishly trespass on his land and disappear have never turned up. I also really enjoyed the moments of anger we witnessed from Jason, and the moments of confusion, particularly when it comes to the Whitney character's striking resemblance to Pamela. This is a more dynamic Jason, and I can appreciate that. I also really like the mask. The shape is unique, and the weathering is unlike any other in the series. So, whoever made the mask, kudos. Now for me, characters are an integral part of any slasher movie, and the real main characters, the actual main characters in the Friday the 13th remake, are pretty weak. Granted, there are supposed to be characters in every slasher who you're not supposed to like and actually want to see die. But all of these characters, I wanted them to die, and die horribly. And luckily, Jason is more than happy to oblige. Jason is the real hero of this movie. We get an arrow through the head, a spear through the eye, a screwdriver through the throat, and I love how Jason uses one character he's incapacitated with an axe in the back as bait in an attempt to lure out the rest of his quarry. Good stuff. From a down and dirty slasher movie perspective, the Friday the 13th remake gets a lot right. We get some good kills, a good killer, some good, mostly practical makeup effects, some good TNA, plenty of atmosphere, and some tense moments. I also dig Steve Jablonsky's score. It's atmospheric and intense. It's one of the more memorable parts of the movie overall, I think. On the downside, the Friday the 13th remake has always just felt bloated to me. The 2 pre-credit sequences don't help matters. And the movie, particularly toward the end, lags up when it should be in a full sprint. Another negative for me is the overall look of the movie. That drab, gritty, ultra-dark look worked for Nispel's Chainsaw remake, but why go for the exact same look here? It also just kind of highlights the Texas locations and the fact that the camp doesn't look like a camp, even a derelict one, and the lake that's supposed to be Crystal Lake doesn't look like a lake. I've always felt that the Friday the 13th remake lacks character. That's the only word that makes sense for me. There are plenty of nods and Easter eggs to other Friday the 13th movies here that any Friday the 13th fan will most likely notice. However, if we ever do get another Friday the 13th and there's an Easter egg to this one in that one, would anybody notice? And what would that Easter egg even be? Extra credit to writers Mark Swift and Damian Shannon for naming one character after the great Peter Bracke, author of Crystal Lake Memories. The Friday the 13th remake is still a mixed bag for me, but I think the positives outweigh the negatives, which makes this new limited edition 4K release for the film from Arrow Video a welcome addition to my collection. The image quality on this release sports some impressive black levels, a crucial element for a movie that's this dark. I can recall the Blu-ray and the DVD having some issues with just how dark this movie is. Those issues, however, are a thing of the past with this release. The image never looks murky or grainy even during the darkest scenes, and despite the darkness, there's still plenty of detail present. As for audio, we're treated to a DTS HD Master Audio 5.1 track, which I thought sounded really good. Overall, I'd give both the picture quality and the sound quality on this release a solid 4 out of 5. This release comes with a very nice slipcover with newly commissioned artwork by Gary Pullen. The sleeve is reversible with the newly commissioned artwork and the original poster art on the reverse. We get a Greetings from Crystal Lake postcard. We get an illustrated collector's booklet with writings on the film by Matt Konopka and Alexandra West. And we get a double-sided fold-out poster with the newly commissioned artwork on one side and the original poster art on the other. As far as extras are concerned, first up we have a brand new interview with director Marcus Nispel. It's 28 minutes and 39 seconds in length. Mr. Nispel discusses Jason's appeal to outsiders, the villain first being the victim and anti-hero. He discusses what drew him to the movie, hiring Derek Mears to play Jason, the decision to make Jason a hunter and a runner, shooting in Texas, how his background in music videos taught him to work fast, dealing with expectations and criticisms from the fans, and more. Next, we have a brand new interview with writers Mark Swift and Damian Shannon. It's 37 minutes and 9 seconds in length. They discuss how they got involved with the Friday the 13th remake, developing the pre-credit scenes, the kills, 13 kills to be precise. Michael Bay loving the sleeping bag kill, which they had to tone way down. They discuss the mask, how incredible Derek Mears was and is, and working with Marcus Nispel. They discuss their original ending, the many deaths of Jenna that they couldn't shoot due to budget, their favorite kills, the sequel they wrote with Tommy Jarvis, and more. Next, we have a brand new interview with cinematographer Danielle Pearl. It's 23 minutes in length. Mr. Pearl discusses his favorite kill in the movie, shooting the death of Deputy Bracke, how to shoot a jump scare, the texture of horror, making the jump from film to digital, and more. Next, we have a killer new beginning, an exclusive video essay about why horror fans shouldn't fear remakes, what the Friday the 13th remake gets right, and more by film critic Matt Donato. It's 18 minutes and 22 seconds in length. We also get a plethora of archival extras, including The Rebirth of Jason Voorhees, which is 11 minutes and 24 seconds in length, Hacking Back, Slashing Forward, which is 11 minutes and 41 seconds in length, The 7 Best Kills, which is 22 minutes and 32 seconds in length. We get 8 minutes and 20 seconds of deleted scenes, and excerpts from the Terror Trivia track, which is 43 minutes and 12 seconds in length. We also get promotional materials, including the teaser, the trailer, TV spots, the EPK, and image gallery. We also get 2 audio commentaries, the first with director Marcus Nispel, and the second with writers Mark Swift and Damian Shannon. This is a very nice limited edition 4K release for the Friday the 13th remake from the fine folks over at Arrow Video. If you're a fan of the film, then this release is a must-own. Let me know your thoughts on the Friday the 13th remake down in the comments section below. And while you're down there, let me know where you would rank it among all of the movies in the franchise, as well as where you would rank it when it comes to remakes of the 2000s. If you like this video, please leave it a thumbs up and share it on social media. If you're not following me on social media, those links are in the description. As always, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Take care, and until next time, peace. A huge thank you to all my patrons and channel members for your generosity and support. Become a patron today and get early access to videos, have a say in what content appears on my channel, join me for monthly live streams, exclusive watch parties, and more. Become a channel member today and get access to exclusive badges and emotes to use when I stream, as well as members-only watch parties. Both those links are in the description. Say hello to the internet, Jeremy.
Hello to the internet.